Hey guys, today I am going to review the Canon ix6820 printer that I use in my art studio all the time. Hey, I also want to point out I'm wearing my New York shirt today. We are in the middle of the coronavirus, as a lot of you are probably aware, and I know it's heading down to Nashville, but we're not hit so bad like you guys. Anyway, much love to you guys in New York from Nashville. Y'all hang tough. This is a budget printer, and when I mean a budget printer, you might not be getting champagne on a beer budget, but you're at least definitely getting a quality wine. I'm not talking about the beers preferred by skinny jean wearing, clean work boot wearing, wouldn't know how to use a screwdriver if you even had one, grew a beard because it was the only thing you ever did that made you feel manly in your life, hipster sissy boy craft beers. No, I'm talking about the good old generic, just says beer on the can, redneck, gonna get it on beer. There are several things that make this printer a best buy, in my opinion. One is the ink availability towards it. Two is the wireless printing capability, the cost of the printer itself, the fact that it prints really, really large, and we're going to go into all those things. And let's get into the first thing. Cost of inks. Cost of inks for this printer are very, very low. This printer takes the same cartridges as many of Canon's other, which has allowed the aftermarket to flood the market with inks that are designed to fit this printer. So it's really, really easy to find inks for this printer that are aftermarket inks, and I'm telling you, it saves a ton of money. Yeah, check out the price of the inks I used on my last order. So not only does this printer have 3 color and 1 black photo ink, it also has a grayscale only ink, which is another black ink in a large cartridge, so that if you're going to do just grayscale or you're just going to do text, you can print off of that large cartridge to not burn up your smaller black cartridge or start using your color. So you can force the printer into grayscale only, so it will only use that black ink, thus saving on inks as well. Second great feature on this, the ability to print large borderless prints. You know the old saying, guys, you know how it is. Size matters. How big? 13 by 19 inches big. That is an A3 plus. Definitely 13 by 19 inch borderless print makes an impressive print. So it's definitely a bigger footprint than most desktop printers, but you know, obviously the trade-off when you're being able to print really big prints is you're going to have a pretty big printer. That's not to say that you have to print large. You could print 3-inch by 5-inch photos on this if you want to. You know, that is always an option. By the way, guys, you know, I will have a link down into the description below, and I'll pin it to the comment at the top so that you guys can hit a link and find, you know, you'll be able to find the printer and the inks that I use, papers, things like that. Another great feature of this printer we talked about is the wireless printing. Now, on my desktop, I've got it attached by a standard USB cable, you know, just because it's close enough to my desktop. But for my tablet, for my iPad, Canon has an app for my iPad. They also have an app for Android to print directly off of your, you know, mobile device, so you can have a long distance relationship with your printer. Well, size is nice, but you got to have a little bit of quality behind that, don't you? You got to have a little bit of something going on there with the quality. You can't just rely on big size to get you through everything. Anyway, so let's talk about the quality of this printer. I have been able to print on from metallics to luster papers to semi-gloss to gloss to matte to everything else, and it has performed in every aspect that I have asked it to do. It has performed exceptionally, with the exception of text quality. Text quality is merely mediocre. You will never beat a laser for text, but if you're printing out a whole lot of text documents all the time, you've probably already got a business laser printer. So I'm going to throw up these slides. As you can look here and see, you can see the look of the petals on these flowers. This is a little bit of close-up, and believe me, it looks even better in person than what it does on your screen right now. All right, now, Bill, what about blacks? I've always heard that inkjets aren't able to produce really good blacks. Well, let me throw this one up on the screen for you. I'll have that scrolling up on your screen right now so you guys can look and see how dark and black that really is. I'm telling you guys, it looks like velvet when you print this on matte especially. I'm telling you guys, this thing prints black darker than the heart of a jilted lover who got dumped by somebody 15 years their junior. All right, guys, all of this so far, we are talking about a printer that is priced well under $200 at this time. I can't give exact figures. I'm not allowed to do that. But anyway, let's just say where you hit my link, you'll find the price on this, and you will be very, very surprised. The last thing that we can talk about probably is durability. The reason I'm doing this review is I realized recently that when I went to order ink, that I had bought my printer 2 years prior. I have never in my entire life kept an inkjet printer for 2 years. Sometimes that's because of how much it would cost to get replacement inks, they would get, discontinued or so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is this printer is using inks that they're using in the printers, the newer model printers. So if you wanted to move up to the next model up, it's still using the exact same ink cartridges as this printer. So the printers that they're making right now are still using the same ink. So I know I'm gonna be able to get ink for a long time. Absolutely, I would buy this again tomorrow if this printer broke down. I would be perfectly okay. I'd be a little sad, but I would be perfectly okay going and buying another one and figuring I got my money out of it. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there are some downsides. There are some downsides to everything. This printer will have no scanner or anything like that. You're not going to get a scanner with it. This is not an all-in-one fax machine, copy machine, scanner, blah, 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 printer. You know what? I didn't want a printer to do that. I don't need a printer to do that. I wanted a printer to print really, really good photos. That's what I needed. I use all of my reference pictures. Instead of using my tablet, I print out reference pictures on photos for all of my art, and I do hundreds of paintings in a year's time. So I've printed, at the last count I looked at, I had approached well over 1,000 prints, and almost all of those were full color 8.5 inch by 11 inch or larger. I've printed at least 100 13 by 19. I know because I've gone through over 100 sheets of 13 by 19 photo paper. So that said, it's been awesome, and I would gladly give up the couple little trade-offs that it has for all of the benefits that I get out of it. All right, guys, I'm Bill Kennedy with W. Leon Artistry, and we appreciate y'all stopping by our channel. Y'all have a good one. Bye.